What's going on, everybody? Rob Doster here from the Field of 68. And today we're going to bring you another episode in our NBA Draft Prospect Profile series. These are going to be dropping throughout May and throughout June, a couple a day. So if you do like this content, make sure you subscribe to the channel and do hit that like button. Anything that you can do to interact with these videos, it really does help the channel. It helps more people like you find this content. And since I have you here, make sure you check out our Instagram and TikTok pages. We are going to be pumping out more unique content over there throughout the spring and the summer heading into the 2022-23 college basketball season. Like, for example, did you know that Penny Hardaway was shot when he was in college? I didn't know that. You can find that story right now live on our TikTok and Instagram pages. The links for those are in the description below. So without further ado, let's get into another Field of 68 NBA Draft Prospect Profile.
All right, welcome to the Field of 68's NBA Draft 2022 Prospect Profiles, where we dive into each of the top players who will be in the NBA Draft this season. I'm Stadium Insider Jeff Goodman here with former Wake Forest star Randolph Childress, and today we are going to break down the game of Arizona's versatile guard, forward, wing, whatever you want to call him, Dalen Terry, who I love, RC. I love him because of his potential, and I love him because he's like a Swiss Army knife. Right. He does a little bit of everything. What do you think of Dalen Terry and again, what he can bring to the table for an NBA team?
I think a versatile defender is the one thing I think he can be. You know, he's got the good size. He's got to physically get stronger. I mean, he's 170, 75 pounds, but he's got great size, great length, great athleticism. There's going to be some things physically he has to adjust to and can improve his consistency with his J, but he's someone that fits today's game. I mean, with his athleticism and size, his ability to get to the rim, he's unselfish. I think he definitely going to help some team, and I think he'll make a roster. Yeah,
and you said it. I mean, the biggest thing for him is the confidence with the shot, right? Reps and confidence. Tommy Lloyd was kind of imploring him all of last year, shoot it. If you're open, I want you to take at least 3 threes a game. Dalen Terry certainly got better in that respect. This is a former top 50 recruit coming out of high school, out of Hillcrest in Phoenix. As a freshman, 33% from three, didn't take a lot of them, stepped it up a little bit and, started to make a little bit more shot, 36% on only 77 threes this past season. But again, the reason he's going to make the league is probably with the hope that he'll be not only a 3-and-D guy, but that he can do more off the bounce, yes. Randolph. And I think he can be that kind of NBA teams all want versatile wings right now. Yep. He doesn't shoot the ball great, but like Jaylen Brown didn't shoot the ball great back in college or in high school coming in the NBA.
So many of these guys have turned themselves into, we talk about some of the players. We're looking at them now. I mean, you watch the playoffs now, and we've seen guys evolve into being a really good catch and shoot 3 guy. Certain guys, you're not asking to be playmakers and stars. You're saying if you're a 3-and-D guy, just catch and make threes. I mean, you're watching it throughout the playoffs. You need size and wings. You're not going to make it far past, this is the second round of the playoffs. You're not going far without them, and everybody's hungry for them. Everybody's looking for them, and whoever has them, are the teams that continue to advance.
Dalen Terry didn't put up big numbers, but he was more of a complimentary piece at Arizona. I mean, obviously Ben Mathurin was kind of the star of the team. Tubelis coming back. He 8 points a game. He just did a little bit of everything. Can he be a guy that you think eventually becomes a bona fide scorer in the NBA, or is he always going to be, kind of that 5th option?
We don't know. It's hard to tell with these young guys, right? I mean, with any of these guys, because you don't know the situation they're going to be drafted in. And so now they're getting into these situations. And so for a guy like him, obviously as he's matured, how much will he work? I mean, there's so many, those are the things we talk about when these guys get there. We just don't know. And getting to a right situation where if the best thing that happened for Dalen Terry would be go to a team that got a vet. Somebody's going to come in here and teach him how to be a pro and say, this is how we're going to show up. This is how we're going to work. He'll figure the rest out. The skill set's there. but he needs to get to the good situation, an organization that's going to bring him along and put him in the right situation. I mean, but the skill set's there. the most important thing about it, it's not a bad thing being a role guy, because I think DiVincenzo kind of showed everybody that you want to draft the guy because he already knows what he is. He knows the role. Now, if he develops into that, you hit the Powerball. But bring a guy in here that says, hey, because that's what, let's be honest. I mean, 80, 90% of these guys are being drafted for that anyway. Understand who you are. This is why we're bringing you here. He just understands that playing with all those other guards. And I think that's something that people look at the next level. They're like, hey, I'm not bringing you here to be a star. We got our star. Accept this fourth, fifth option or whatever that is, these limited minutes, be a pro. And the guys who understand that, I think some of these guys who in college who've been in them roles fit it better than some of the guys who are stars on college teams. And then you try to transition into, well, I don't dominate the ball. I don't get all these touches. And he fits that bill.
No, he embraced his role at Arizona.
Yeah.
You could see it. Whatever they needed him to do.
Yeah.
He could play some point in a pinch.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not his natural position. I think he could be like a Trevor Ariza type player at the next level.
Right.
Who, again, is never going to be that star, but long, athletic, can guard multiple positions. And that's what it's about as much as anything in the league right now, too.
Yeah.
Can you switch on to everybody? Right. Like, that's what Dalen Terry's probably going to be able to do. Again, like you said, he's got to gain about 15, 20 more pounds, but that's there. You can see it with his body. He'll be able to do that. And I think confidence is the other major factor for Dalen Terry.
Got to. I think he has the range. He has the physical attributes you want as a player. I think that the ability to shoot, his mechanics aren't bad. He can make shots. He's just so unwilling to do so. He gets in that situation, the right coach, and they embrace it. I think you got a guy that can contribute to a good team.
Yeah, because if you can't make shots and you're left open in the league, you're not going to make it. Bruce Bowen, you've got to be at that level, right?
Yeah.
Defensively, you've got to be elite of the elite to be able to stay in the league. And even Bruce Bowen became a guy who could make open shots.
Yeah.
Would you take Dalen Terry? To me, what NBA guys have kind of told me with Dalen Terry is, could he go late in the first? Yes. Probably more likely to go somewhere early in the second in that 22 to 40. I know that's a big range, 25 to 40 range. Would you spend a first round pick on Dalen Terry?
I think everything's predicated on who's available at the time. Like I've heard, I know we're going to talk about Wendell. I've heard guys tell me they like him and wish they'd take him in the first round. So I think it just depends. Everybody's looking for those guys. I don't think they can have enough of those type of guys, but we're getting in that group of guys right now where we're talking. That's the difference that's separating these guys that are that late to early second round, is the ability to question mark of how well will they shoot the basketball.
Yeah. I mean, he's a guy who's scratched the surface of what he could be. And that's the one thing that's hard to evaluate him compared to some of these other guys. Cause you got to look down the line with all of them, but especially with Dalen Terry, because we haven't seen him in a prominent role. A lot of the other guys that we're talking about have been in prominent roles in college. With him, you haven't even seen him as the alpha dog.
No.
But he's not going to be the alpha dog in the next level.
And that's the thing that's so intriguing.
Right.
That's what you're saying. It's so intriguing. You're not asking him to be that. I think it's easier for a guy like him to transition into that role and be more accepting of that role.
Absolutely.
Than a guy that's a star that's kind of, because it's a shock. And I can speak from experience with that. It's a shock when you go somewhere and you're used to your routine. It becomes, hey, I know I'm gonna be able to play my way in. I go through this, and you get all it, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, you're gonna go in for this 5 minutes and you make the most of it. And then when you go in there, if you're a ball dominant guy, you don't dominate the ball anymore in that league. So there's a lot of things that come into play. I like what he is because you don't have to worry about any of that. So for his sake, it can be a benefit, because when you start getting in the second round, teams are looking for a certain role to fit anyway. They're not expecting, to see a guy come in there, many second round picks, to say, all right, this guy's going to be a part of what we're doing over a rotational guy.
Elite defender. Yep. Good rebounder for his size. Really good passer as a secondary ball handler.
Yes.
Could be terrific on an NBA team because he can move the basketball. The only thing that really is lacking right now is that perimeter shot. And if he can get that down, there's no reason that Dalen Terry can't be a guy who not only plays in the league for 10 to 12 years, but is a really good, starts in the league for 10, 12 years. And that's the big difference.
Yeah, he consistently knocked down shots. Then we're not even having this conversation. He's well up in the first round. We know he was a consistent 3-point shooter, then he would rocket up the draft boards.
Well, it'll be interesting to see as he goes on some of these visits to teams. If he shoots the ball well on a couple of them, could somebody say, hey, you know what? We see what his ceiling can be. Right? We see what he can be. Because there's a lot of those guys, again, that weren't great shooters coming out of high school. And I'm not saying it's going to be Kawhi Leonard. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, out of college, Kawhi Leonard could not shoot the basketball, and he worked. And from all accounts, Dalen Terry is a worker, is a guy who's going to get in the gym, and the shot will get better with reps. And that's what it's about. Listen, NBA guys say it all the time. The one area with work that can be improved is your shot. If you're living in the gym, that's the area they're probably worried about the least.
Yes.
Because your handle – it's hard to get your handle better. It's hard to get your decision.
You either can do it or you can't. You either gonna make the right decisions or you can't. People can always say it's one of the most time wasted things you can do is go on the gym with someone and be like, all right, let's do some ball handling drills. Right. It's like, man, you can handle the ball or you can't. You can make decisions with the ball or you can't. I can't teach you, decision making. You either got to have it or you can't. But shooting is something that repetition and perfecting your shot. I mean, we're watching it in these playoffs, guys. It's just like, hey, perfect your shot. Take good shots, perfect your shots. And that's what a lot of these guys are looking at too. Our question with some of these guys is their field goal percentage. Some of these guys, their field goal percentage tells them, you know what you are. And that's what they're drafting. There's what, 3 or 4 guys you're drafting that we're saying in this draft, we're like, all right, we want this guy to be the face of our franchise, right? That we got maybe 2 or 3 guys. Maybe. Yeah. So the rest of these guys is like, hey, come in here, fit in here, be a part of this. If you develop into this, great. If not, then the wheel turns.
Arizona's Dalen Terry, certainly an intriguing prospect. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow Field of 68 on YouTube. We'll have profiles on every single player. For Randolph Childress, I'm Stadium Insider Jeff Goodman. Join us next time.